The country Honduras, a very warm, beautiful, and tropical country, yet the second poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. I think this small country is one of the most beautiful countries I've ever seen. There are 3 islands called the Bay Islands. They are lined up in a row and most of the rare fish live there. There are dolphins, whale sharks, and many more colorful fish. The water is very blue and clean. So if you want to find out more on the beautiful Bay Islands, sit back, relax, and get ready to learn more about Honduras. During the first millennium, Honduras was inhabited by the Maya. Columbus explored the country in 1502. Honduras, with 4 other Central American nations, declared its independence from Spain in 1821 to form a federation of Central America states. Also, the history of Honduras is comprised of the history of its people. The country was inhabited by igneous tribes of great cultural diversity. The most powerful was the Maya, who also populated Yucatan, Belize, and the northeastern of Guatemala, and built their sacred city in the western part of Honduras. On July 30th, 1508, Christopher Columbus reached the Bay Islands. This was the first time he saw Honduras. Columbus set sail toward the northern continental coast and ordered the celebration of the first Mass on the Honduran mainland, and then he named the church Isabella of Castle. Honduras is a country situated in Central America. Honduras borders the Caribbean Sea and the North Pacific Ocean. Guatemala lies to the west, Nicaragua southeast, and El Salvador to the southwest. It is the second largest Central America republic. The triangular-shaped country has a total area of just over 112,000 square miles. The 700 kilometers northern boundary is the Caribbean coast extending from the mouth of the Rio Montuga on the west to the mouth of Rio Coco. On the east, at Capa Gracias a Dios, the 922-kilometer southeastern side of the triangle is the land border with Nicaragua. It follows the Rio Coco near the Caribbean Sea and then extends southwestward through mountainous terrain of the Gulf of Fonseca on the Pacific Ocean. The southern apex of the triangular is a 153-kilometer coastline at the Gulf of Fonseca, which opens onto the Pacific Ocean. The western land boundary consists of the 342-kilometer border with El Salvador and the 256-kilometer border with Guatemala.
It was July 30th, 1502, and today is when Honduras was discovered. Its history of the Mayans to Indians are about to come to a change, but will always be remembered and will be passed down generation to generation. But it all comes down to the one question: how does the history of Honduras affect how Hondurans live now? Because everything that has happened in the past affects the future, so every decision made in Honduras affects how every Honduran lives now. It's the same as with every other country. It's July 30th, 1502. Christopher Columbus was sailing around looking for land to claim for Spain. He spots land, docks his ship on it, but only finds out that it's just a little island, but spots a bigger landform and sails there. He docks on Honduras and claims it in the name of his sovereigns, Ferdinand II of Aragon and Isabel I of Castiles. Now we come to 1525, and Spain begins to actually claim it, but doesn't until 1539. After very bitter struggles with their rivals representing Spanish power centers. And this year, it's 1821, and this year is a very big year in Honduras. This year is the year when they got their independence from Spain, and they turn right back around and are now under the control of the Mexican Empire. This is 1823. This is a very similar year to 1821. It broke away from the Mexican Empire, but soon after they turned right back around again and joined the United Provinces of Central America, which include El Salvador, Guatemala, Costa Rica, and Nicaragua, but stay with them for a long time. The British have 1859. British have the the islands, but gives it to Honduras because they aren't helping the British make money. It's now 1969. The soccer war to the Spanish football wars. Honduras versus El Salvador. The war breaks out, lasting 5 days and killing 2,000 Hondurans. The war was stemmed from tensions between Hondurans and El Salvadoran teams. 1998. Hurricane Mitch devastates Honduras at winds over 180 miles per hour, lasting from October 22nd to November 5th, 1998, costing billions of dollars. You're probably wondering who named it and what it means. First, Columbus named Honduras, but he named it Honduras because it means depths. He named it because of the deep waters of the coast. In Honduras, there have been lots of different types of Indian tribes. For example, one of the most populated Indian tribes is the Lenca Indians, and 300,594 people have been part of the tribe over time. They started out as a very small tribe in Honduras, but grew over time. Other tribes that are native to Honduras are the Mosquito Indians, Garifuna Indians, Chorty Indians, Maingna Indians, Peck Indians, and Tawahak Indians, and also the Paya Indians. The Indian tribe population can vary anywhere between 300,600 people to 1,800 people, depending on the Honduran belief and religions. Now, onto the population in Honduras. The population goes up every year, but there was a little dent between 1997 and 1999 because of the devastation of Hurricane Mitch. Did you know that during the first millennium, Honduras was inhabited by the Maya? Also, they used to be known as Spanish Honduras, so it would differ itself from Belize, known as British Honduras. During the World War II, Honduras were neutrals in the war. Honduran history has very many interesting timepieces in its history. There's lots of cool dates and times where it affects how everybody lives now. That is the history of Honduras.